From Lalate headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Afternoons Lalate.
The excitement continues today on a beautiful August 26, 2022, as Jay Powell speaks in Jackson Hole and gives you guidance on what he's doing with his economy. Plus, out of nowhere, the Personal Consumption Expenditure Index is released. It gives you guidance on the inflation hitting this economy. We also have major details coming in today with the earnings results from a series of companies. Did they miss or did they beat a series of companies? I have the big details across the board. If that inflation was very flat, what does it mean for your benefits with that new Personal Consumption Expenditure Index released today? I'll have the latest details across the board on a beautiful day from Santa Monica, California. Plus, of course, the major story heating up all this week, 12 categories of checks, now law. It's huge. It's absolutely enormous. About 100 to 200 checks for you to get. We'll go over everything in this recording. Plus, we'll go over the first 3 checks and the big money issue. As inflation has potentially not peaked, what do we know on housing? We'll have the latest details on that housing recession clearly underway from the shores of Santa Monica, California. But the major situation that everyone was waiting today for is Jackson Hole and this guy, Jay Powell. We were waiting to see his comments, and I said his comments would basically say the same situation for inflation and the same focus from the Federal Reserve. Did he come in a little bit more verbose? Did he do his comedy routine? Did he talk about the fashion statement that lobster shorts bring to the Senate dining room? Did he talk about $12 ice cream or San Francisco hairstyles? Well, apparently whatever he spoke about, Wall Street did not like, because the Dow is down dramatically right now, down 400 points. We'll see if it stays down for the rest of the day. Why is the Dow trading down when there's so much stimulus for you to get? I'll go over those big stimulus checks, the latest details you want to see, and of course the major story, I think, really today, the Personal Consumption Expenditure Index, which gives you the guidance on where inflation's going. It's a big recording tonight. It's a big recording today. For an August 26, 2022, your inflation, your benefit raise, your housing market, your unemployment, and your forced stimulus from the shores of Santa Monica, California. Let's get to the breaking news starting right here, right now on Afternoons. And good afternoon, everybody. It's a gorgeous day along the coast for August 26, 2022. Stay with me all weekend long because we have a lot to go over. Of course, those new stimulus checks, let's recap. 3 made law by President of the United States by executive order in the month of March. Then 7 made law 2 Sundays ago by Congress, and now 2 additional checks on top of that. It brings you all from the letter A to the letter M. We'll go over the latest details on those incredible checks. Of course, we are all waiting to see Jay Powell's comments today. And whatever he said, Wall Street didn't like it. The Dow is down 400 points today. And we'll go over why in this recording. Plus, why does that impact your benefits so much? And yes, your benefits going up a lot. We'll go over the latest details across the board. But of course, I'm going to start with the major story today, which of course is the big earnings results coming in from a series of major companies. And guess what? Most of them beating. We thought that basically the earnings season was over. Well, no. A few more companies are reporting today. And of course, this is second quarter. Some companies are still giving us guidance for the rest of the year. Let's get to the major details with that. First off, as we start a beautiful new day of August 26th from the shores of Santa Monica, California. How are you? Hope you have a beautiful day across the board. Electronic Arts up 6.2% when it announced a deal with Amazon, and then Gap, which the analysts were really trash talking yesterday. I love the store. It's up 6% when it beat on earnings and revenue and net profits. Affirm slumped 13% when it missed. Then Dell fell 5.5% when it missed. We have Farfetch that beat, Workday that beat, Ultra Beauty, which always beats. It's just a great stock, a great company. Up 11 point, it's up 3.8%, and Micron up 94.3%. You heard that right, 94.3% when it's going to be bought out. Wow. Of course, the other major story today is Jay Powell. Jay Powell, your head of the Federal Reserve, whose job is to get maximum employment, which means reverse unemployment, get a low unemployment, and price stability for inflation, had his annual speech at Jackson Hole today. Going to the speech, I said that the Jay Powell is likely to say, we're staying with where interest rate spikes because our target is 2%, and that we're going to likely do the same interest rate spikes we've done over prior meetings. That's, of course, what he's likely to say. Over the last few weeks, this is what's been going on. I've been saying that Jay Powell's going to do 75 basis points in September and stay with 75 basis points every month through December and likely into next year, because you can't get from 8.5% where we are right now to 2% with one interest rate spike. It's ridiculous. In fact, one major analyst said today he can do it. It's not going to do it. It's just not going to happen. Number two, I said that Wall Street's lack of understanding this, not putting the inherent risk of more interest rate spikes into the markets, the stock market, would cause a crash. It did this last Monday. Stocks went down. The Dow was down 650 points. The day was down. The day after that was 150. What was Wall Street doing? Wall Street was betting on one interest rate spike in September. That's it. I said, that's not going to happen. Bowman, Daly, Bullard, all the Fed governors have all said, we're not doing that. So what did Jay Powell say today? Jay Powell basically said we're going to stay with interest rate spikes for a while until we get to 2%. A, B. Got both of those from me. This is what I said he was going to say. And what did Wall Street do? It crashed down 400 points. I just don't understand what's with these stock analysts. This is very, very basic stuff. Just listen to what the Fed governors say and expect that's what's going to happen. And all they do is they hear the Fed governors and they ignore it and they say something reverse is going to happen. Jay Powell said there's no place to stop or pause. Told you so. And that we're going to stay where we are. While higher interest rates, slower growth, and softer labor market conditions will bring down inflation, they will also bring some pain to households and businesses. But these are unfortunate costs of reducing inflation. But a failure to restore price stability would be far greater pain. We already know this. He's basically saying, yeah, there will be potential strain on businesses. There will be potential unemployment, but getting price control under control, which is meaning getting inflation under control, is more important. We already knew this because they've been saying this for 8 months. We are moving our policy stance purposely to a level that will be sufficiently restrictive to return inflation to 2%. Restoring price stability will require maintaining a restrictive policy stance for some time. It's probably those words that why Wall Street is down 400 points today. Some time. That's not one meeting, folks. That's not just September with one interest rate spike. I just don't understand why no one understood this. On Wall Street, they actually been telling you this for weeks on weeks and weeks. Now it came from the words of Jay Powell's mouth. Do you think they're going to ignore it? Of course they are. Of course they are. It's sort of like a senator who everyone tells lobster shorts are not high fashion, and he keeps on wearing them. Restoring price. It's also like something in the House of Representatives when you're told, don't do that San Francisco hairstyle. It doesn't work. And then she does it again. And that $12 ice cream is overpriced, and yet she still buys it. Restoring price stability will likely cause the strain, and we need to do this for some time. Price stability is the responsibility of the Federal Reserve, is what he also says, and serves as a bedrock of our economy. Without price stability, the economy does not work for anyone. That's blunt. That's very, very blunt. Of course, inflation has about everyone's attention right now, with highlights of a particular risk today. The longer the current bout of inflation continues, the greater the chance that expectations of higher inflation will become entrenched. Let me translate this for you. We've had that same quote from Jay Powell literally every single month that he speaks. He basically says that if you continue inflation indefinitely, people will get used to higher prices for the respective products. So, if milk was $2 a gallon, jump in the live chat. What was it before? $2 a gallon? If milk was $2 a gallon and it's now what? Jump in the live chat. It went from 2 to what? 4? 2 to 5? If you're used to paying 5, you'll just pay it indefinitely because you think that that is the new normal. He says, we're not going to do new normal. We're going to get it back to 2%. We can't do that because people who continue to pay $5 per gallon of milk will have big problems. And you will, because you're not making more in salaries. You can't afford $5 a gallon for milk indefinitely. This is how it works. So, fascinating quotes from Jay Powell. Exactly what I told you he was going to say. This is Jay Powell. But did he actually tell you the interest rate amount? No, he did not. So that was, did he tell you the price hikes? No, he did not. That's actually quite fascinating across the board. We have Bowman, Boulard, and Daly have all said it's going to be 75. You have Lalate, me, saying it's going to be 75, and it's staying at 75 for a while, but he did not go into that level of specificity. Wow. Today had a new shocker, but a new normal. And what was it? It was the Personal Consumption Expenditure Index. You've heard me say that expression. I know it's hard to say, Personal Consumption Expenditure Index. It's really hard to say, but I got used to say it in one breath. You've been hearing this for a while, almost 2 months on this channel. What is it? It is an inflationary benchmark. It tells you what inflation is doing, and it's released between the CPIs. It's important for your benefits, because we know your benefits are going up. The question is how much, and we need to see if inflation is flat. If inflation is flat or going higher, that's great news for you. But the CPI is released once a month. It was released last week, August 10th. So we need to see the number in between. And I've been saying it's the Personal Consumption Expenditure Index. I didn't know it was being released this week. I thought it was being released last week. Well, here it did. It came in. It came in today. And what was it? Flat. Oh, yes, this is good news. So in the month of June, it was 6.8%. The number released today for the month of July, 6.3%. That's basically flat, folks. But when you compare the actual reading, it was 0.1 month over month. It was here is what's going on. The number was actually when you exclude food and energy, it was a rise 4.6% year to date, but it was actually gain month to month. So let's go over that again. When you include gasoline, how much you're paying for that at the pump, it slumped a little bit month to month, about 0.1%. It's not even 1%. But when you exclude gasoline, it actually rose 0.1 month to month. Fascinating across the board. And the PCA comes about 2 weeks after the July Consumer Price Index. Oh, I said it was last week? No, I'm so sorry. August 10th was not last week. It was the week before that. And that number was basically flat. That was the CPI. The PPI was released just days later. That was also flat. And the retail sales was released this week, and that was flat as well. So there you go. 4 numbers for inflation that are all flat. Great news across the board. I could run for you what Wall Street is expecting, but Wall Street has been getting things really wrong lately. Now let's jump into your benefits. This is great news again for your benefits. This is really exciting news because we really want to see a flat number. We don't want to see a number that's dropping. A higher number is great, but a flat number is also great. What's at issue? Your benefits. Who? You. SSI, SSDI, Social Security Railroad benefits. We already know they're going up a lot. The question is how much. And that's why we're watching these numbers so importantly, so closely. This is lifetime stimulus. Again, this is lifetime stimulus. Why? When your benefits go up every year, that is not just for the year, it's a lifetime. So for example, if your benefits went up 10% this year, that's not just for 1 year, it's not just for 1 month, it's a lifetime. So we're looking at this inflationary numbers to understand how high your benefits are going up. This is you, SSI, SSDI, Social Security Railroad benefits. Some of you 5,000, some of you more, some of you less. Let's go into the equation. Has inflation peaked? Well, the headline number may have peaked, but when you look at the component parts, they're still going higher. In July 13th, 14th, and 15th, we had the June numbers released. CPI higher, PPI higher, retail sales higher. Well, in the last week, we had the CPI, PPI, and the retail sales release, and guess what happened with them? A little bit lower on the headline number, but the component parts were higher. Let's recap. In the month of May, CPI surged out of control, a whopping 8.6%. What happened in July? What happened last week? Let's recap that starting right now. This is important because it all impacts your benefits. In May, the CPI was a whopping 8.6%, enormously high. That's why your benefits are going up so much. Then in June, 9.1%. And last week for July, 8.5%. So it's basically flat. We have 2 more months of data. Again, your benefits are going up. You, if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Rail Veterans benefits, how much? About $5,000 for some of you more, some of you less. Same percentage raise, yes. 3 months of data determines your benefits. Let's go over the calculation of that right now. Your benefits are tied to something called COLA, cost of living adjustment. And it's determined by another number over 3 months, the CPI-W. Yes, a subsection of the CPI. For July, released August 10th. For August, released September 10th. And for October, released October 10th. Did I butcher that? July released October 10th. August released September 10th. And September released October 10th. I did butcher that. Now, we've already seen July. We need to see August. But I told you, the way we can see August before it's released is the Personal Consumption Expenditure Index. And here it is today. It's flat. Yes, great news. That is great news. That's what we wanted to see. Now, that, if we're looking at the data released today, is relatively, part of July, part of August, then we really just have 1 more month of data to see. This is getting very exciting. Now, between that and the release, you can see this in the supermarket, milk and eggs. You can see this in the labor, the salaries. You can see this in the landlord rents. And what have we seen so far? They're all flat or going higher. Now, what about gasoline? Gasoline has gone higher. It was 92 on this channel 2 weeks ago. It's 102. It pulled back a little bit overnight. And it's hovering around this 102. Interesting. That's international price of Brent crude. The amount that the domestic unleaded has tracked lower. Last night was very fascinating. If you remember this channel, which I hope you are, it did not track down the usual 20 cents as it has nightly. It tracked down only about a few pennies. That was really interesting. Now, based upon that CPI that was released August 10th, the Seniors League, which is a nonprofit organization, looked at that 8.5% and said, well, with that 8.5, it stays the same way for 2 more months. We're projecting a raise of your benefits to 10.1%. Do I agree? I think it's conservative. One, rent is 30% of the number. I think rent is going to be flat. Next, the salaries are not going down. And the milk and eggs is going up. I seen you comment in the live chat in the last 2 days, chat right now. Is the milk and eggs going up still? I seen some of them still going up. Some of them have pulled back. And certainly the rent, which is 30% of the CPI, is not going down, nor is the salary. So this looks like a little bit more than 10.1%. We'll follow it on this channel in the next few weeks. Now, in addition to this, the other major story hitting this channel this week has been the new stimulus checks. There's been a 4 stimulus check in every U.S. state since the month of March. Those were check A, B, and C. That's about $100,000. Then, 2 Sundays ago, checks E through K, as labeled on this channel, became law by a Congress. That was 7 new stimulus checks. And then 2 days ago, we revealed 2 more checks on that. L and M, lots of money. 2 new checks. And that's categories of checks, not actual checks. That puts us at 12 categories of checks to date. And those 12 categories of checks are far over $100,000 and far over 100 checks. We're going to go over all those incredible checks in a second. But what do you need to know? The first 3 checks are huge sums of money. Let's look at those first three checks, A, B, and C. Those first three checks became law in March by executive action from Joseph Biden, and they're huge. They're about $100,000, the first three checks alone, A, B, and C. Done by executive action for Joseph Biden, you qualify. Single individual, 75,000 less, go get it. Married couple, 150,000 less, go get it. How do you get it? You become a member. Go into this video, become a member. Welcome to hundreds of new members this week. Go into the video, join the channel, become a Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino VIP. Past in March, these incredible checks are huge. You qualify. Single individual, 75,000 less, go get it. Married couple, 150,000 less, go get it. If you rent, if you own, if you're on benefits, not on benefits, go get it across the board. How do you get it? You go into this video, become a member, and that membership newsletter features check A, B, and C, then features check E through K, done by Congress, and now features checks L and M as well. Go into the video, become a member, Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino VIP. And then Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, you will be delivered the membership newsletter. And that's where you apply for the checks in the newsletter. You go down to check A, down to check B, and across the board. We'll go over each of those incredible checks one at a time in the big second half. One of the benefits of being a member is not just the newsletter, but also what's in there. One of the items in the newsletter is this, the worksheets. A PDF you can print out on your phone or also on your computer. It's incredible. And it's about 8 pages in length. Today we have a lot of new details in here. Inflation. You know, if you look at Boulard, Daily, Bowman, and J. Powell today, they're all saying that inflation it will be persistent for a while to come, and they need to stay with this interest rate spikes. That's why the Dow is down 400 points. The Dow keeps on saying that, inflation's going away just because. It's not just going away just because. And those comments from Jay Powell are very indicative of where we are. Recession. Well, we have a housing recession, detailed on this channel yesterday. And we also have an economic recession, 2 negative quarters of GDP growth, and we have earnings recession. Major companies missing and guided down for the rest of this year. Labor came in basically flat yesterday as well. It's like a 243, a 245, a 250. It's basically the same number. That's in hundreds. 243,000 new jobs claims per week. The unemployment rate is the lowest since 1969, but the labor claims are not good at all. Federal Reserve. Did Jay Powell do exactly what I said he was going to do? Basically, I got it right again, but he didn't go into specifics like I would have liked him to do. He did say that 2% inflation is his target, as I said he was going to say. He did say we're going to have more interest rate spikes, and we're going to stay with them until we get to 2% inflation, as I said he was going to. He basically, in that one word, and what was it? A while. It basically gave him guidance that the interest rate spikes are to continue past September. That's why the Dow is down 400 points. His comments, he just sort of slid that word in there. That for some time, that we will continue the stance for some time. Sometime is not 4 weeks. Sometimes not 1 month. That is a few months, folks. And that's what I said he was going to say. Now, did he give you the interest rate? Did he give you the interest rate spike? No, he did not. But we already had that for Bowman. She said the same as we've been doing in the recent meetings, which is 75 basis point. The next page of the worksheets are incredible, just incredible. One viewer last weekend got 14 months of rent. If you've had that story, send it me on facebook.com/LA News. Another viewer the day before that got 14 months of rent, separate viewer. Another viewer got 12 months of utilities. Then we had Spelly who got check A. We had Spelly who got check C. And we had that one viewer out of Florida who got 80 plus checks. Here is that worksheet. When I made it, there were less checks available. Now there's 100 to 200 checks for you to get. So you want to print out this page in duplicate form. Why are there so many checks right now? Let's go over that right now. Check A is really 1 check. Check B is about 80 checks because you have about 4 utilities bills per month, plus you have rent or mortgage. That's 5 bills per month. Average view of this channel is now getting 14 to 18 months. 14 times 5 is about, 60, 70, 80, 100 checks. Then you can do the same for check C, but the only difference with check C is you have 12 places to reach out to in the membership newsletter. So that's a lot of places to keep track of. 80 times 12, that's a lot of places to keep track of. E to K, The checks passed by Congress 2 Sundays ago are basically one check in each category. L and M, L is one check, but M is multiple checks. A lot of checks to keep track of. And we go over those incredible checks in the big second half. Gasoline, wow. Gasoline international price of Brent crude 2 weeks ago was 92. It's hovering at around 100 right today. And it will track higher. I'll feature this more on evenings. Student loan debt forgiveness will be phased out on this channel because it's basically a finished story. You want to know more about it, watch yesterday's broadcast. And your benefit raises, well, if you believe that those component parts that make up inflation are going higher like I do, or flat like I do, then you think that your benefit raise could be more than 10.1%. You can run those calculations on the page in the worksheet for your benefits. In the big second half, we're going to go over all these incredible checks. Check A to check M. It's now 12 categories of checks. 100 to 200 checks, you qualify. Single individual, 75,000 less. Married couple, 150,000 less. Go get it. Go get these enormous sums of money. You deserve them. How do you get them? You apply for them in the membership newsletter. And how do you get that membership newsletter? Well, obviously, you become a member. Become a member if you're watching Lalate 1, if you're watching Lalate 2, if you're watching Lalate 3. Become a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino VIP. Members on all three channels are delivered the membership newsletter at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via the YouTube alerts. And in the big second half, we're going to go over all these incredible checks for you one at a time. Become a member and get ready for those incredible checks in just 60 seconds. From the shores of Santa Monica, California, oh boy, it's getting exciting. Could there be more checks next week? You never know. They just sort of pop up out of nowhere. See you back in 60 seconds as Afternoons Lalate continues.
If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join Lalate Daily for the excitement of the new Lalate live daily. The excitement starts on mornings Lalate at 9 a.m. Home Lalate returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons Lalate at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on Lalate.
And the excitement continues right now. Beautiful afternoon of August 26, 2022. From the shores of Santa Monica, California, hope you have a beautiful day, and I will be with you all weekend long. We have a lot of breaking news this weekend. Make sure you stay with this channel. The latest details today from the shores of Santa Monica, California is 12 categories of checks. Yes, 12 categories of checks. And about 100 to 200 checks for you to get. It's in addition to that lifetime stimulus we went over on your benefit raises. These huge checks just seem to pop up everywhere. And we'll go over all those incredible checks right now. How do you get them? Step 1, become a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino VIP. You apply for the checks in the newsletter for members Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Delivered via the YouTube alerts Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Let's go over all those incredible checks starting right now. It starts, of course, with the front of the alphabet. Check A, a $6,500 to $12,000 check from fourth stimulus. Single individual, 75,000 less, go get it. Married couple, 150,000 less, go get it. If you're on benefits, go get it as well. How do you get it? Step 1, go into the video, join the channel. Step 2, become a member and get that incredible newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And go down to Check A and go and apply. The incredible check A is followed then by check B. Go into the check B is $15,000 to $80,000. It is a forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. Single individual, $75,000 less, go get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, go get it. How do you get it? Step 1, subscribe. Step 2, get that membership newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via the YouTube alerts. Go down the membership newsletter, you find check B, click the link, and go and apply. Look how well you've done so far. Check A is $12,000 approximately. Check B is $80,000. Wow. Now, check A is the check that Spelly got, and then check B is a viewer out of Florida got those 80 plus checks. Wow, that's $100,000 right there, but we're not done yet. We're going to go get check C. Check C is wonderful. It's an MSC. It is for rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and more. And that's what Spelly got. That's what the viewer who got 14 months. Yes, viewers are tracking about 14 months on this check C at the moment. Go down on the video and join and become a member. Then get that membership newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via the YouTube alerts. Go down to check C. It tells you who to call, what to say, and how to say it. That is those wonderful checks of A, B, and C. It amounts to about $100,000. But we're not done there yet. Go get checks E through K. They're a little bit under check C in the membership newsletter. And what are checks E through K? Let's go over the details of checks E through K starting right now. Check E is $7,500. Check F is $4,000. Check G is 30% off. Check H is $2,000. Check I is $8,000. Check J is $8,000. Check K is $14,000. Get ready now for checks L and M. They became apparent this week and launched by this channel, I think it was 2 nights ago. These incredible checks for L and M are huge. L is around $100,000 of a loan interest free for the purchase of a new home. $4,000 of is for free money grants. That's your money for check M for closing costs. And yeah, you can have a lot of different closing costs. That is check M, which is several checks. L is one check. And there you go. The incredible checks from A to M. Just a lot of money. How do you get it? You go into this video, become a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Casino VIP. The check C success story have been on this channel for a long time. Let's go through success stories. From Nisi all the way up to Elizabeth, want this money for rent, go get check C. Do you want this money for utilities? Then go get check C. From Angela all the way up to Mark. Do you want these monies for SNAP? Wow, Mark's brother-in-law is getting $250,000 over 10 years, and then combinations of checks. Nisi was at $23,000, she went to $50,000. Mark was at $32,000, he went to $166,000. How did he do it? Well, he went to this graphic from $32,000 to $50,000. Then he went to $100,000. Then he got check B at $66,000. That brought him to $166,000. Lorraine, who celebrated her birthday this week, went from $105,000 to $150,000. And what do? They keep on pouncing. Number one, they keep on watching all the videos because there's always new checks coming on this channel. This, in the last 7 days, we have gone from check E to M as brand new checks. That is now 9 new checks on this channel in the last 7 days. You want to be a member and stay a member. How do you get these incredible checks? Step 1, go into the video, subscribe. Step 2, go into the video and join the channel. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Casino VIP. Step 3, go down the membership newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and apply for these incredible checks. Make sure you have your bell on the front of this channel set to all notifications on, and make sure you are subscribed to this channel to ensure you have all notifications delivered to you. Here is something to remind you about. When you're applying for money on this channel, and I've had people applying for money on this channel since day one, when we were doing EIDL, PPP, PUA, you got to be very careful what you're doing. One of the very, very first videos on this channel was EIDL, grants and loans. It seemed like an easy video, but then I sort of noticed what was going on and I recorded it, and I got to tell you, there was just a whopping number of people who had made a very simple error. What was the simple error? The simple error was, when applying for the EIDL grant, they had put in two errors, two potential errors. One, it had asked for the business's EI, social security number. They put in their personal social security number. That's why it failed, because it ran the business and the number didn't match. Or the question asked, is this a small business or is this an independent contractor business? Independent contractor is your social security, and then a small business is the business social security. It was a very, very simple error, but it's a simple error that can get you disqualified, would not give you any money. And I went through them. I said, here, do this, do that. They all got approved. It's paying attention to those simple details was so important. The reason I'm using the example is because of this. It's so important you really listen to the videos. I know there's some beautiful footage of people surfing in the videos, like her. I know there's some really, really good-looking people in the videos, like these people, like her. There's some really good-looking people, but you really have to focus to the words said by me in the videos. I'm not just sort of paraphrasing or do a version of what I'm saying. I'm very specific of what you say. I'm very specific about what you do. And let me give you an example. This is the most obvious example of what I'm talking about. Become a member and get that membership newsletter to apply for the checks. You apply for the checks in the membership newsletter. So why would someone say, I want to go to the community page to apply for the checks? Why would someone say, I want to go to the page to apply for the checks? No, the newsletter is where you apply for the checks. Next, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, PST, Pacific Standard Time. Why would you look for 7 o'clock your time in New York? New York is not Pacific Standard Time. It's West Coast time. If you don't know what your time zone is for you, you can pull up your phone and just ask the phone, hi, what is the difference between Pacific and Eastern Standard Time? I can tell you right now, it's 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. But if you don't know the time zone, you can send me a private message. I'll answer you on private messaging. It's a very simple question. But look at that graphic, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Don't ignore the graphic. Next, via YouTube alerts. Not Lalate alerts, YouTube alerts. So when you see this graphic, you got to be very specific on what you're doing. And why? Because when you apply for Check A, you got to be specific to what they're asking for. Check B, Check C. When we get to Check C, I have 12 places for you to reach out to. 6 from government and 6 from nonprofits. So if you reach out to one of 12 places and you get a rejection, well, I also teach this channel, you're going to have a 50% rejection of 12 places. You got to reach out to 12 places, not one. One is not what I record for you. You got to reach to all 12 places. You got to do Check A through all the way to Check M if those are for you. And when you do them, you got to reach out to all the different places. That's how we do it on this channel, and that's how you can do it. You listen to the video and you do very specific as to how I say it across the board. Let's go into why Wall Street is crashing today and why, again, this is something we have talked about all this week on this channel. In fact, since last weekend. I told you that it was a very, very troubling situation, that I was the only one saying Jay Powell and the Fed governors are going to do interest rate spikes in September all the way to December, and that Wall Street was saying the exact opposite. One interest rate spike in September and never again. I said, how can they say that when all the Fed governors have had speeches and luncheons and, nonprofit organizations they've been speaking at in the last month? And they all say they're going to do interest rate spikes September indefinitely till they get inflation to 2%. And Wall Street said, no, they're going to pivot. There's a major, regarded analyst that spoke this morning that said Jay Powell should do one interest rate spike more and then that's enough. That's a slightly different quote saying that I hope he does that than saying he's going to do that. But it's basically the same thing again. They're not going to do that. It's sort of like you saying your favorite supermodel is going to date you. She's not. It's nice you think about that. I think about that. It's just not going to happen. So you got to listen to what the Fed governors say and do it accordingly. Why is this important for you? Because it's not good for you when the stock market crashes. It hurts consumer confidence. It hurts consumer spending. It causes a web of confusion whether or not this economy is really bad. And it could potentially lead to your own unemployment or your son or daughter's unemployment. It's not a good look. You don't want this stock market to be falling 400 points today, falling 650 points on Monday, falling 150 points on Tuesday, all because analysts bet against what the Federal Reserve actually said coming out of their own mouth. Who does that? They're doing it, not the bond traders, not the oil traders, not me, not you. And ultimately, if you see that happening, or I tell you it's happening, you gotta be worried. That's what's going on today. Next, it's important for you to understand that there's a recession underway, and a lot of people, including a major analyst yesterday featured on this channel, said there is no recession because one data point suggests otherwise. If you see anyone out there, I don't care where it is, in a newspaper, on broadcast media, saying there is no recession because of one data point. The one data point is that filet mignon is on discount. The one data point is that $12 ice cream is now $11.55. The one data point is now the check may actually wave back at you at the beach. You don't go off of one data point to determine there is no recession. Again, that is also the same level of ridiculous. There's a lot of data points to go over, and one data point does not define or also does not undefine a recession. And that's what that major economist did. We featured it on yesterday's show. You'll potentially see it tonight on Evening's Countdown. From the shores of Santa Monica, California, it's exciting times. 12 categories of checks, over 100 to 200 checks for you to get. And yes, I continue to look for you for checks. That is the true spirit of the Purple Power Pounce. You want to get these checks right now. We never know how long they're going to be around. We never know how much money is going to be available. And you want to get these checks now when they're available. Checks A to M. Will we go into more letters next week? We'll see. I mean, it's getting really fascinating across the board. A through C in March. 7 new categories 2 Sundays ago, 2 new categories this week. I'm always fighting for you to get checks. That's what I do. I just ask that you fight to get that money for your wallet, for you and your family. Go on to this video, become a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino VIP. Get these huge checks and get ready for a big afternoon's broadcast at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. From the shores of Santa Monica, California, thank you for joining me on Afternoons Lalate. And here again is some of the excitement coming to Lalate 2 and Lalate 3.